Go.
Hey, welcome to Don't Worry. You start this so quick. Welcome to Don't Worry
I do.
Wednesday.
It's like ripping a band-aid off. You got to just do it.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's. See, when you rip a band-aid off, it's because you're anticipating like the pain and you're trying to get it over with fast and you're trying to decrease the amount of pain.
Yeah.
This isn't a painful experience. You don't have to rip it off. You don't have to rip it open, right?
Yeah, but I think it's probably because I'm used to at martial arts, they say, "Okay, stand like that for 10 seconds." And then they go 10, 9,
Those are not
8.
seconds.
And I'm like, and you're standing there like with your leg up in this weird position or whatever.
See, for me, I'd be like, this is great, but please do not say seconds if you're gonna lie to me. Because
Right.
the melancholy side of me just goes, excuse me, I know how to count seconds, and those aren't it.
Yes, those are not seconds.
Your
Those are
1 second is like 4 real second times.
well beyond seconds for sure.
Yeah, you should just say for 10. Yeah. Anyways, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we talk about whatever's on your mind, whatever is perhaps getting you down, worrying you, concerns, or maybe a friend of yours has a concern. You want to help them out. This
Mhm.
is the show where we talk about that kind of stuff. So, you know, we aren't professional psychologists or psychiatrists or that sort of thing, but we have lived lives and we can attempt to be a good friend. We've gone through a lot of things ourselves, so hopefully we can take those experiences and share them with you guys and help you on your experiences to help, you know, move things along. A lot of times you guys know what to do to solve your own problems, but you just need a little boost, a little kick in the butt, or a little, a little change in perception.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here to do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's about it. That just covers everything. If you want us to talk about one of your topics, leave it in the chat here. You can also go to our forums, which is at bss.studio, and post in the Don't Worry Wednesday section. Or lastly, you can email us if you want to remain anonymous, and that's at dww@bss.studio. Princess has shared the links with you right on the chat. So there you go. Thanks, Princess, for being here. She is our, she does a lot of stuff. She helps us work out things in the background. She's taking care of the questions for us and organizing them and all that kind of stuff, as well as being our chat room hostess. So she's super helpful, super awesome. And also, we have our star of the show today, which is
You guys in the
you
chat.
guys. That's right. The chat, because without your topics, we have nothing. And then also your co-star, Joseph Anderson, who's just below me. And he's gonna be doing you good ones. He's gonna drop in that wisdom like it's hot.
We're gonna figure out what kind of wisdom I actually am capable of after that whole fiasco of trying to get this show going.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on exactly.
That was so weird. I apologize for being so late, guys, but yeah, we were getting everything set up and going, and then I started the stream and everything, and then YouTube has its little preview window, and the preview window was zoomed like way in on one of the corners of the screen, and so all you saw was like "Don't worry," in really big letters, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And so then we should have just pushed it live, but we didn't, and then I restarted my computer, and then I came back, and it was still the same. So they were like, "Well, we're just gonna try it. We're gonna
It's
see
just
what
trying to
happens."
tell us, they don't worry. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. Just push it live.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we were going through all kinds of stuff. We were totally lost, and then yep, and then we started it. It was like, hey, it actually worked. So I guess we're
Yeah,
good.
that's super weird. But
So hopefully I'm wiser
yes,
than
hopefully.
that shenanigan.
Well, there's no one can be more wise than to know. No one is wise enough to solve that problem. You just have to go through with it and see what happens. I suppose that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, we all have
And
our
Emperor,
struggles.
you are absolutely right. Don't worry every day, not just on Wednesday. Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday's just the day that we do the show, which is how would you call that?
a catchy way
Yes,
of
it
saying it.
is. Um,
It's catchy.
uh,
Derek invented it, right?
Tradition.
Beta Cat.
That's the word I was looking for. Tradition. Because Derek invented it
Mm-hmm.
many years ago, like
Mm-hmm.
7 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on Wednesdays for him, and so it's just a tradition to do it on Wednesdays, and that's the name of the show. Don't Worry Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We did do Don't Worry Wednesdays on other days of the week before.
We do.
We started having to call them different things.
Yeah, and it'd be cool to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Don't Fret
one day we'll
Friday.
get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that point again. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Don't Trifle Tuesday.
Ooh.
That's a new one, huh?
Don't threaten Thursday.
That's right. Don't threaten Thursday.
Thursday will threaten you back, and then.
Then you'll have something to worry about.
Don't worry weeks. Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Don't worry all week. It's a don't worry week.
Hey guys, every week's a Don't Worry week. All right.
Ooh.
So that's the show that we got running. Why don't we jump right into it?
That sounds like a great idea.
Awesome. I mean, I guess I didn't ask how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing in chat? You guys have a fantastic week. How about you, Joe?
I'm doing great. It's been a very productive week. It's been a very busy week. Those of you who have auditioned for the Criminal Idol season 2, just so you know, you're one of almost 300 now.
Yes, there's almost 300, 280 something at this point, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's getting pretty crazy, and we're listening to them, and it's hard because there's so many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you sitting there and listen to them, and it's like, man, these guys are all so good. It's like I want to give everybody a part, but there's only like 15 parts.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Whenever I hear one, I'm like, cool. I want to create a character for that.
Right. Yep, and I think we're about to get another influx of more because we just had like some like, I don't know what you call it, some community based voice actors guild thing or whatever, like email and say, hey, just wanted to be sure, is this the right email address for us to send our applicants to? It's like, oh boy.
Did you reply to that?
I did not. You're the one replying to all the questions.
I did. When did we get that?
Today.
Okay, well, see, I didn't get to it today yet. I'm gonna have to.
It was like a few hours ago that email came in.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make sure I tell them yes, because the deadline is in, 4 days.
Is it?
Yep.
Is that the 7th?
Yep.
Oh my.
That's right.
The deadline is the 7th. Now, do they have all day on the 7th?
Yeah.
So they have until.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
And is it Fiji time that we did that, or is it Eastern?
we are lenient towards the time zone, so we'll do what's left of the Samoan Islands? North of Samoa. What are we?
I can't remember the name.
What was it?
I can't remember. It's near Fiji.
Yeah, it's near Fiji, but it's not Fiji, and it has a different timeline. Yeah.
And Ryan wants to move there because the climate is perfect.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that one, was it? Was it really?
Yeah, it's like right on the equator and right on the.
Kitiki. Ah, man.
I don't remember.
Man, it was fantastic place though. Perfect weather all year long, all year round.
Oh, Princess has the document. Thank you, Princess.
Oh yes, it does say PST.
February.
Yeah,
7th.
I remember that.
That's Pacific Standard Time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we aren't gonna be like, oh, you sent it in 1 minute late, so nah, we're not gonna even listen. Nah, we'll give people a chance even if they're, send them in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way we are.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah.
So thank you, everybody who's auditioned. We'll have to come up with some kind of gift for all you guys. Something. Maybe we'll extend a special discount to everybody who auditioned or wanted to audition or sent us an email that said hi and we love you, or something.
Yeah, and then we'll get a bunch of emails that just say hi, I love you. Where's my discount? That's great.
Oh yes.
All
Tara
right.
says, "Did you ever get over your dislike of your amazing songs?" Actually, I did because now uh I'm I'm starting to I'm starting to think of lyrics for these instrumental songs, and so now I'm listening to them and singing along with them, and so we can re-release them. Bless you.
Thanks.
Um, and
Kiribati.
Kiribati, thank you. That's it.
Kiribati.
Kiribati, the
Yeah.
Republic of Kiribati. Many islands spread out in the ocean. Bless you. They probably don't
Thanks.
sneeze there in Kiribati.
They probably don't because they have perfect weather.
They do. Exactly. Perfect
Um,
weather for lots
and
of
they probably
pollen.
don't have corona there either.
You're probably right. They don't
Probably
even
gonna
know
have to
what that
blow my
is.
nose. No, they've never heard of it.
Yeah.
They do have internet, but they don't use it
Oh.
because they all live in straw huts.
Right. Yep. Perfect. It's a great place to be. So, yeah.
All right.
Let's get started. What do you
So
say?
I'm going to go down the list of people who have submitted topics for us to talk about. If you are here, please let us know in the chat. You can write anything you wish, just as long as we can see your name. But yeah, here we go. Sevlev, SK, Awkward / Pika, Jesse, Khan Vulcan, Sparrow, Amira, Random, April, Baka, Catjet, Ian Lam, and Saule. Saul? How do you actually pronounce this? Is it Saul or Saule?
I think it's Saula.
Or Saula?
I think
Oh,
it's Saula. Saula. If I remember, because he actually,
are they German?
I don't know.
Because when you put an E and you making an A sound, it just reminds me of Germany.
Okay. Yeah, but
I
at
don't
any
know why.
rate, I think it was on a Double Cup of Joe show, where
You may. What's up?
Saula was on there and actually spelled out how to pronounce the name, like, and it was very, very descriptive. And I was like, that's very okay. That is not how I thought it was pronounced. But all right, cool. We'll do it. So, all right. Who do we got? We got Yume, and we've got
Sparrow was here
Baka.
earlier. If Sparrow was here,
Sparrow is here.
yeah, if Sparrow is here, then we'll do theirs first. But if not, we'll start with Yume since they're first on the list here.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Why don't we do that?
Okay, we'll start with Yume.
Yume.
Sparrow, if you are here. By the way, Yume, I have not forgotten your request that you asked me in person, but I have not fulfilled it yet. I plan to this week, and I'm sorry for the delay. Been pretty busy. And I know that's not doesn't take too much time to do the request, but just wanted to apologize that I haven't gotten to it yet.
Ha! See? You see that? I got my link in.
Ah,
I did it.
there it is.
All right. So, yes. And now I need to get the actually top. Thanks, Princess. I clicked yours and then I copy pasted it. It was genius. Genius. So anyway, you can click either one of those. Princess's is the better one.
That's right.
Obviously, it's Joe's.
Joe's is the second refined version.
Mine is the verification of the one that, yeah, because I clicked Princesses to make sure it worked. Yep. So anyway.
Yes.
And it was perfect.
So, yeah, this is from Yule. It's titled The Cycle, and Princess is going to read it for us.
This will probably be my final topic. I need to move on. I love you all, but I need to let go. I finally found somewhere that I felt like home. It was a place I felt I belonged. I had never felt that way about a place since, if we're being honest. Static Server. I don't know what it is about this place that makes me feel that way. Maybe it was just the way the people treated me. They were all so nice. They were there for me when I hurt. I even fell in love. But I got distracted by the past. I wanted so badly to go back. I would have done anything, but there was nothing I could do. I was so upset by this that I began to forget how much they meant to me. I was too fixated on the past that I couldn't see what I had in the present. I hurt them too. One moment I had everything, and then the next it was as if every home I thought I had collapsed. I lost not only them, but everyone who was close to me. I have nowhere to go. Nothing feels the same, because I know this cycle will just repeat. I'll find somewhere I belong. I feel I belong. I'll be reminded of the past. I'll forget what they mean to me, and then I'll lose them. I lost my will to live. I'd do anything to have them back, to make it up to them. But I did too much, and I don't think they want me back. It doesn't matter how many people I'm surrounded by anymore. I know that no matter who I meet, and no matter what place I feel I belong, I will never have true comfort anymore. I don't think that I can trust anyone will stay anymore. I just wish I could have someone that I knew would never leave me, even through my struggles. But I have no one, and I'm forced to face these things alone every single time, because no one stays when I need them the most. And of all these things remind me that all along I'd never changed.
All right. Thank
Mm.
you. Thanks for the topic, Yume. And I can understand this. You know, um, it's rough when you long for people, right? The human desire is to long for people, right? And we want to be able to rely on people. And sometimes when we do that, we find out more and more that relying on people can get us hurt, right? And we can hurt them, and that stinks too. And especially with the people that we love, right? The people that we love the most hurt the most, and they're the people that we end up hurting the most. And that's the nature of things. Just because we're close to them and we're vulnerable to them, and they're vulnerable to us. And sometimes when that happens, if the people aren't strong enough, they can have their relationship shattered, and to a point where they can't repair them until they've become strong enough to repair them, and not basically to repair their own glass that's shattered before they can accept that relationship again. And that's the way things go, and it's rough. One thing to consider is, like, one thing to remember, and I think you kind of pointed at this, is like, you can't control other people. You can't decide what they feel. You just do your best, and sometimes we aren't our best. In fact, we find we're the least best around the people we love. That's where we show our worst sides a lot of times. So anyways, there's a lot in this topic that I think that Joe and I can talk about. But yeah, I hope that we do it justice, and we hope that we can give you some peace of mind, and some resolve. But anyways, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Joe. Take it away.
Well, thanks, Ryan. And my heart goes out to you, Yume. I have to say, I know what it's like to feel like I've burned bridges. I know what it feels like to think, nothing's ever going to be okay again. I've been there. I remember one time, I actually left a band that I was in, and I did it in a way where I couldn't really be friends with the people that were in the band anymore. It really was a hard time. Like, I really kind of drew a really hard line in the sand and walked, and that was it. And like, so it was crazy, because it was like one day we were friends, and then the next day, nothing at all. And I did it. Like, I was the one who perpetrated it. And I remember kind of the fallout from that. I remember, for a while, I just kind of was living my life and everything, and it was fine. And then, after a while, it just kind of started to dawn on me how permanent that was, and how hurtful that was, and how out of the blue for everybody else that was. And I've learned a lot about tact since then. I've learned a lot about, if I'm going to dissociate with a group of people or with a person or whatever, I know a lot better ways to do it, than to just do what I did, which was basically say, hey, I'm out and I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. And it was like, what? And we had to deal with all kinds of other weird stuff too, because, there was money involved. I mean, there was money we had paid for consulting fees. There was all kinds of stuff. And I was in it more than just being able to walk away and never talk to him again. We still had things to figure out in the dismantling. Right. So that made that even more difficult. But here's the thing I've learned, because this was, I don't know, that was a while ago. That was quite a few years ago. And one of the things that I've learned about this type of thing, even though things in the past hurt, we can pick up and start over. We can do it every day. In fact, I try to do it every day. I try to do something new that's an improvement on myself every day. And find little ways. I mean, this is why I do in my morning routine, the journaling aspect of things, the all the reflections. We if you ever came onto the Double Cup of Joe show when we were doing that show, we had a 3-step process that I still do every day, and I have done every day for years, and I will probably do every day forever. And that is the 3-step routine of what am I thankful for? What am I looking forward to? And what am I going to do today to make that future a reality, to make my life better and everything like that. So that little bit of reflection helps to kind of turn me, okay, yes, I've had past experiences. There are things in my past that I regret. There are things in my past that are hurtful and that are painful. Some of them I did. Some of them I experienced at the hand of others. Sometimes at the hands of people that I love. And, I can't go back and change what happened, but I can examine what happened. I can experience the emotion of that happening, and I can heal from it in ways that, if you, I know you've heard me talk about this before. If you guys in the chat, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, then you will. Because I'm about to. But the way we heal.
Nice.
Yeah. That was smooth, man. Yeah. The way we heal from a past hurt like that is either forgiveness or repentance. And, it's not necessarily, I don't want to kind of lump myself in with it. I just remember there was this one guy when I went to college. He was what you might call a Bible thumper. You ever met a Bible thumper? And he just was in the middle of the campus yelling. He had his Bible up and he was repent and blah 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 and this and that, and I'm like, dude, you are not making friends. You are not helping. I don't know what good you're doing. Like, seriously. I mean, somebody
you're a
might
sinner. You're not my friend.
Yep. You're absolutely right. I'm a sinner, and so are you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but anyway, I don't want to come across like that. Repentance is basically a genuine sorrow for something you've done and a resolution inside to change that, to not do that again. It's like, okay, yes, I made a mistake. I screwed up. I did it. It was my fault. I don't have any excuses. It was something I did and it was wrong. And I'm sorry for that. I did not want the ramifications of that, and I want to be better. I want to turn from that. I don't want to do that anymore. That's what repentance is, okay? So if you perpetrated it, if you did something that caused the pain, your job to heal is repentance. If somebody else hurt you in some way, your path to healing is through forgiveness. Now, there doesn't have to be reconciliation. Meaning, there doesn't have to necessarily be me and my former bandmates. We probably won't talk again for the rest of our lives. We just won't. It was too hard. It was too much of a fallout, right? So, but what I can do, what I've done in order to heal from that experience is repent, is say, yes, that was wrong. That was absolutely wrong. I was so hurtful, and I'm so sorry for that. Now, I can't tell them that because I don't have contact with them. I would. If I did have contact with them, they probably wouldn't want to listen to me, or they might not want to respond to any messages if I found them. I can imagine that, the hurt would run deep enough that they might not want to talk to me, and that's totally understandable. But in my heart, I can recognize it was wrong. I can feel sorry for that, and I can turn from that. And that's what I've been able to do in order to heal. And what happens is we still have scars, but those scars or those memories, it's like, okay, it's kind of like, okay, I remember not to do that anymore. And now that I've grown through that kind of a process, I'm on guard, so I'm not going to even come close to that line of hurting somebody like that ever again. So through that experience, through doing that damage and then healing, repenting, healing, I've been able to emerge as probably a better person in that regard, because now I'm not going to do that same thing again, right? I'm guarded against doing that same thing again. So hopefully I've kind of straightened up my act a little bit and gotten better, And that's the beauty of things that happen that are painful. Because without them, we wouldn't grow. As Ryan says, and I don't want to steal your thunder, Ryan, I'm about to turn it over to you, but, love cannot be proven without pain. We can't even, love wouldn't exist. Not real love anyway. Not, demonstratable, I guess. But so that's kind of, I go through some of that. And if I kind of reflect a little bit in the mornings, and I'm like, okay, am I feeling uneasy about something? Is there something that's bothering me? And then I dig into it a little bit. I'm like, okay, what is this that's bothering me? And I'm like, why? And it's like, oh, so-and-so did something to me. And it really frustrated me. And I'm like, okay, well, then my job is to forgive them. And so I sit there and I'm like, yep, that was wrong. I do this all inside, in a little inner dialogue inside my head. I say, that was wrong. That really, really hurt me. And I forgive you. So notice, I didn't say, oh, no big deal, because it was a big deal. It hurt. Right? I don't smooth over it at all. I admit, I acknowledge that it was wrong. I acknowledge that it was painful, and then forgive. And I do that all inside me. And that's my pathway to healing. And then if I ever come across them again, then maybe we need to address it in order to reconcile things. Sometimes it's just, it doesn't even need to be brought up. It just whatever, right? But sometimes if there's a real issue, then it needs to be brought up. It needs to be addressed so it doesn't happen again, because they may not even know that they did something to hurt me, right? And so they might, and it's not good for them to go around hurting other people like that, just carelessly, willy-nilly, And so sometimes things need to be addressed. And in that case, in those moments, relationships grow stronger through that reconciliation, and it can be a really beautiful thing. So anyway, I hope some of that makes sense, and I hope it doesn't sound like a broken record, because I know I've explained this before, but I just wanted to let you know how important that is. And as you're going through life, you can start over again and again and again. Every day is a new start. And you can look at what's going on, and you can heal from it, either through forgiveness or through repentance. You can heal. And you can be free from that stuff. You can be free from the negative emotions through that healing. And then you can move forward a stronger person. And I believe in you. And I hope you come back and see us sometime. I understand, sometimes it's time to move on and, go experience new things and everything. But I hope you check in with us once in a while, and let us know how you're doing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. So Ryan, have at it.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. And yeah, absolutely well said. One of the things is you said, when you wake up in the morning, and you think about, okay, is there something in my mind that's troubling me? What is that? Why is it troubling me? And you think about it for a second, and then your next question is, how do I solve this? A lot of times it's forgiveness. I do that exercise too. Whenever there's something in my mind and it's bothering me, I think it's important to spend some time and get to it, as immediately as possible, just to sit there in silence for a moment and think about it and go, why is that? Oh, this is troubling me. Why is it troubling me so much? Maybe it shouldn't be troubling me so much. Let me think about it. And if it's that's not really a big deal, why am I getting upset about it? Then I just try to tell myself, you're being emotional over nothing, move on. But if it's something that is a big deal, then it's okay, I need to solve this. How do I solve this? A lot of times it just comes to, okay, I just need to forgive them and let go. Sometimes I need to approach them and tell them something or something along those lines, right? But in some cases, you can't even do that. You just have to let things go. And that's, you started this topic with saying, this will probably be my final topic. I need to move on. I love you all, but I need to let go. And I think that's true. There are many times where moving on is moving up. And sometimes letting go doesn't mean that you are doing, doesn't mean, because there's that term quit. Quitting is bad, but quitting smoking is good, right?
It is.
And not that this is necessarily a bad thing for you, but sometimes in life, we get things that we are really attached to, and we become too attached to them that we hold ourselves back. We see people do this a lot with money or items, right? Have you ever heard of hoarders, right? People will take physical objects and they will hold on to them because they think that it will make them happy, right? And so then they collect all of these things, and the more they get, they're not getting more happy. They're just getting more things that they have to hold on to. And when someone tries to get one of those things from them, take them or buy them, they get all stressed out. And it's that item that you're getting stressed out over isn't bringing you happiness. It's something that your mind said, I need to be attached to this. And if I let go of this, I'll be sad. But in truth, if they can let go of it, it's free from their mind and they can find peace because they don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think that sometimes our relationships can be like that. Relationships are super valuable. They're a wonderful thing. They're what the world runs on, right? Without relationships, the world just works on relationships. I'll just say it like that. And sometimes those relationships don't make us happy, right? In fact, no one can really make you happy in a relationship because ultimately it's up to you whether you're happy or not. Sometimes we have to be able to let go of things that are good so we can have things that are great. Sometimes the good things can hold us back, from being even better, for something better, there's all sorts of examples. You can come up with your own. I don't really need to, but yeah, there's so much in life where there's something good and we want it And we want it so bad that it distracts us from moving on and moving to better places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that may be where you're at, and I think if that's where you think you're at, then I would say, yeah, let go and move on. I think that's the best decision you could make. You said this was referencing the past. You said, I finally found somewhere that felt like home, a place that I felt like I belonged. And home is an interesting word. Home is a place, they say home is where the heart is. I think home is where you're comfortable, where you're able to relax, where you're able to be yourself, right? That's what home is.
As my brother says, home is where you can scratch where it itches.
Right. Home is where you can scratch where it itches. Right. So
sorry.
That just makes you think like home is where you can go to the bathroom without. Home is where you can fart. It's like, what the heck, man? Home is where you feel like you can be yourself, and you're comfortable, right? But home is never where you are challenged to grow, because if you're comfortable, if you're complacent,
mm-hmm.
you're not getting the hard stuff. You're not getting the challenges that really move us forward. But another thing is this: home is also where you're at peace, right? But I would like you to expand your mind and imagine you can be at peace in any place, right? Because if you're attached to home, right? So if you need a home in order to be at peace, then you're attached to the idea of being home. But if you can let go of your home and still be at peace, then you've reached a state of mind that's beyond necessarily needing a home. It's really weird for me to say that, kind of strange, but I tried to put in the words. I tried to put into the best words I could. Yeah, to be at peace is a beautiful thing. To be comfortable where you're at. To be comfortable in hardship. It sounds like, how do you put those two things together? How can you both be in suffering and comfortable at the same time? And I think that I know that is entirely doable. There are lots of people who do it, and myself included. I'm sure Joe also. You can get into really tense situations and still be calm and comfortable, because home is where the heart is. That's a true statement. But where's your heart? If your heart is attached to a building, then yeah, your home is over there, but you can't take that building wherever you go. If home is a certain community or a group of people, if that's where your heart is, if that's where your focus is, on that community, if that's where your heart is, then it's going to be very difficult to find peace in other places. If your heart is somewhere on this earth or in a certain group or scenario, if it's on a roller coaster, whatever, if that's where your heart is, it's temporary. Mm-hmm. It's always temporary, because you can never remain in those places. I had a community of people that I would also have called home. When I was between the ages of 16 and probably like 18, there was I played this game called Ragnarok Online. I've talked about it many times because it's an important part of my past. Mm-hmm. But there was a community there that I was really attached to, and we had so much fun together. It was a wonderful time, and it was a beautiful community. Eventually, it fell apart because the main person of this community was the person who hosted the game, right? And she was a very ill and sickly person from Norway. And it was unfortunate because the people she founded the community with, every single one of them betrayed her at some point. And it was really tough for her and really stressful. So eventually she let the server go, and it fell apart, and the community had no way to remain in contact with each other really, because this was in the past. This was before Discord. Um, and so you had to have everybody's MSN Messenger, like emails. You'd had to have everybody's email basically. And you didn't really have a whole lot. You had a couple. And so the community fell apart, and a couple of us found each other, but it wasn't the same, right? We weren't talking to each other every day because we weren't all communing in the same place every day. And I remember looking back over pictures of that video game, right? I remember like finding screenshots. I still have some on my computer today, and this is from like, I don't know. Okay, 14. This was almost 20 years ago. No, 10. It was like 12, 13 years ago. So I had computer pictures on my computer of like screenshots of the video game and stuff like that. And every once in a while I'd look back and I'd see a screen full of people. And I'd be like, okay, there's that person. There's that person. I remember that person. Oh, he was so funny. He had the most hilarious catchphrases. There's that person. And I remember it. And this deep feeling of nostalgia and sadness and like emptiness would fill me. This empty feeling would fill me, and it would just absorb everything, all of my emotion, and it wouldn't give me anything back. And I was like, that is a weird feeling. That is a weird phenomenon, nostalgia.
Yeah, to be filled with emptiness.
Yeah, to be filled with emptiness. And it's just like, it doesn't stop. And when you experience that, you look at that and you're like, okay, now what? What with all of this? What can I do? And you're like, nothing. Okay, then why did I have that feeling? What was that about? Nothing. And you're like, okay, the human heart is very, very interesting. And it can identify when something is empty. We look at that and there's nothing there anymore. And that's okay. Because there's nothing there anymore. Why go back? There's nothing there. Why go back? Why search? When if you're playing a video game and you open a chest and you get all the loot out of it, and you go back to it a second later and there's no loot inside, and you go back a second later and it still has no loot, and you go back a second later, how come there's nothing in this chest? You find out that it's not going to just fill itself. There's nothing there. There's no reason to keep on going back to that treasure chest. There's nothing in it. And that's the way things are in life. Sometimes you look at something and you're filled with that emptiness. Maybe you're filled with regret or sorrow, but you look at it and you're like, yeah, but it's void. It's vain. There's nothing there. It was a treasure. And that treasure has built me to where I am now. And so therefore, in the past, it wasn't empty. And now in the future, I am benefiting from that. But if I go back there now, why would I? It's an empty treasure chest. There's no treasure in it at all. It's just a piece of wood with 6 sides. I had to count. I was going to say 4, and I'm like, no.
Good job.
Yeah. So I think that it's important to feel and understand those things. When we experience them, we can just look at that and say, wow, that was a beautiful thing. That was a beautiful thing. But it's empty now. And I can cherish the beauty, and I can take that beauty with me into my new life. But it's better to move on than to sit there and do nothing. Because the more I sit there, the more I want to do nothing. And doing nothing doesn't make me feel good, doesn't make me feel satisfied, doesn't make me feel comfortable, and doesn't make me feel at home, and doesn't make my heart, feel like it's on fire for anything. So I think that sometimes moving on is definitely the best option. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Joe. Back on to you if you have anything you want to add to that.
Well, there's a couple updates here, Yume says, but I plan on taking. I'm I'm currently taking a break, and if I show I'm better, they might let me back. I lost them just this past weekend. It's not completely guaranteed. In fact, the chances are quite small, I'd say. But I plan on taking a long break, maybe catch up on some animes I've had on my watch list, though staying away is quite hard. So I just wanted to let you know, if this is something that you've noticed kind of a pattern, maybe there's a pattern of alienating yourself from others, or like you were talking about in the post, this is something, you said at the end, I'd never changed, and because you've experienced this in the past, where you've been a part of a community, and maybe then said or done some things that alienated you from that community, or frustrated some people. There are a few things that I've learned that help in just dealing with other people. And you guys listen to us, and I'm so honored and humbled because I'm just another guy. I'm just another guy with problems. Maybe I'm older than you, and so maybe I've experienced more problems thus far. Maybe I've had a few more under my belt by this point just because I've lived longer, but man, I'm still learning. I'm still learning new stuff every day. Still trying new things. I'm learning, and I learn from people that are way younger than me. I learned from Ryan. He's way younger than me. Like way younger.
You're 18.
Like, yeah, and you're like 12. So like,
yeah, okay, you're right. I put a hat on. I look like I shave my beard.
Shave your beard, yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Alice Suspiria. Everyone has problems. We all do, and so that's one of the things. Like I've been going through this course. It's called Linguistic Jiu-Jitsu, and it's basically a way to in dealing with interactions with people, and how you approach things, and how to what do they say, how to win a verbal conflict, right? Now, verbal conflict is interesting because you don't win by out-logicking or out-maneuvering your opponent. You win a verbal encounter, a verbal conflict, by the other person losing their composure. So you have to be a bit gracious here, because if somebody loses their composure in a conversation with you, they're not necessarily going to want to be your friend. So you have to do this very tactfully, But there are a few things that that this program taught, and it's just basic ways people are, okay? And we are all people. So this applies to all of us. We feel better when we're at our best. We have more confidence when we're at our best. And that means to be rested, to be in decent shape, to not eat a bunch of junk, when we have good, we have good foods, and we have, healthy foods. We have a healthy lifestyle, and rested, we just feel better, and we feel stronger and more confident, and we're less likely to even have those moments where a conflict arises, because we're just in a better state, right? So the more we can do to, put ourselves in that position, so through, some form of exercise, some form of, I would be very limiting on sugar in your diet, and so try and eat healthy food, exercise, rest. Those three things will put you on a very, very solid foundation. And then another thing is to just always be remembering, just be mindful. Like Alice Suspiria said, we're all people, and we all have problems, right? Everyone has problems. We're all trying to figure this world out. Every single person, every single one of us, you guys, me. And it's interesting because there are people who put on this air about themselves of having it all figured out. Deep down, they know they don't have it all figured out. you know? And
I think part of enjoying life is realizing the reality is you know nothing. And
yeah,
so you're just winging it.
yeah,
And you can enjoy that.
yeah. And interestingly enough, you should question what you hear from anybody because that's just a point of view coming from a person who's in the same soup you are of trying to figure everything out.
Hmm.
Right? And so then question, like look into, why would they say something like that? What's their perspective? Now, I just had an appointment with a genetic counselor. I'm having some genetic testing done. And so, like, I trust this person and their information on genetics because I know they've studied it, right? But right at the outset, right, they were looking at my family history, just some different things and some different genetic mutations that had happened in some of my family members, and they're like, this is an interesting thing because this particular result that is exhibited in all of these family members of yours is only like 2% of the people that have this particular mutation. So there might be something else going on that we just don't know how to look for yet. And I'm like, oh, great. So now my family gets to be your guinea pig, right? Is that how this is going to work? Like we get free medical treatment because you're going to test and, you're going to like experiment on us. That sounds like fun. But at any rate, but to be mindful of the fact that we're all trying to figure this world out. We're living. We might have our areas of expertise where we've learned a certain amount of stuff. I know a fair amount about audio production, but one of the things I know about audio production is there's a lot more for me to learn about it. There's always more. And it's the case, I'm learning more about video production now, and that is same boat. But I don't know very much about it yet. So I'm pretty novice in that regard. But if you remember that in any encounter, whether you're on a server or you're in a chat or whatever, whoever's typing on the other side, they're just another person like you. They have insecurities. They have fears. They have hopes and dreams. Maybe they found that same feeling of belonging you've found in this server. And that's what they're there for. We are all just people, and we're trying to figure this out. And the more you can have that stuck in the back of your mind, the more gracious automatically you become. Because you're just like, hey, they're just like me. They're just like me. We ought to just love each other. Because, man, this world's a messed up place. And we need people that we can just, feel comfortable around. Feel at home around, like Ryan said. So, anyway, that's all I have. Ryan, did you have anything else?
Yeah, just one last thing is right on that note you were just ending on is if you can be a person that loves others, if you can be a person that other people feel comfortable around, it might take a long time before you find people that you can be comfortable around, but at least you'll attract people to you and you'll eventually stumble upon those group of people that you can feel comfortable around too. Mm-hmm. It's hard because there are so many people in the world and we've all got crazy problems. We've all got crazy personalities and we don't all match up perfectly. In fact, no one does. Mm-hmm. The part of being human is not matching to other humans. And that's part of what makes the world beautiful, mm-hmm. but it does make it hard. And being hard is a good thing. But I believe 100%, I believe 100% that you will find someone that you feel comfortable around and plenty of people that you feel like you can trust and you can just be yourself around and all that kind of stuff. But the best thing you can do to find that is be that person for others. And I know that's not easy, but to be trustable, to be, I guess, what's the word? To be, I guess, easygoing in a sense of like non-problematic, and to let other people be themselves. not be in their face if they are different, just let them be weird and just say, yeah, that's just weird. That's how you are. And that's cool. I'm fine with that, to kind of allow people to be themselves. Hopefully you can attract people towards you and you can find those people that you're looking for. Cause I know it can be hard. But this life is a beautiful journey filled with all sorts of different things. And I'm sure you will find yours. But anyways, that being said, thank you so much, Yume, for the question. And we love you, man. We hope to, if we don't see you again, that's all right. I understand that you said this will probably be your last topic. But if you hop in the chat, we would love to have you. We like you a lot. And we have since you first showed up. And you are a great person. Know that. We know you're a great person and that you aspire to be a great person. And we can see that. So don't ever feel like you're just all kinds of messed up and you need other people's help to solve your problems and stuff like that. That's not the case. We all need help. But the truth is, the reason that you post here is because you want to grow, and we can see that in you. You want great things for yourself and great things for other people. And that's beautiful. So I admire your courage to post as you have in the past. And I think you're awesome. So yeah, love you. And on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Sparrow. Sparrow, are you still here? Sparrow is here. Are you still here?
Sparrow is here. Is maybe perhaps here?
Yeah.
We shall find out. I am here.
Sweet. Sparrow's here.
I'm here. Yes. Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. We got a topic for you, or from you, actually.
That's right.
Is the better way of putting it.
So this one, again, is from Sparrow. It's titled Annoying Family.
Ooh.
Well.
Interesting.
And it reads as follows.
Sparrow is here. I was just wondering how you can deal with an annoying family member constantly shaming you for the many things you do. Sparrow is gone.
Thank you so much for reading that, Princess.
Sparrow says, actually, could you do the new one? Is there a new one?
Could you do? Because this is a good one. All right, we could do a new one. Hold on. There's a new one.
Where's the new one? Did it just get posted today?
Yeah, is it?
I don't see it.
Sparrow, do you have a link to it that you could share with us? And then Princess and Joe will copy them and post them into the chat for everybody.
We'll copy paste.
Yeah.
Could
you do that for us?
Blind Hate, but I thought
it's from
we already
December
do that
16th.
But perhaps we didn't. Is it called Blind Hate?
Blind Hate?
Might be. Looks like that would have come after.
It would have come after, but
I don't know. We can do that one too.
Is that the one you would prefer? Because I mean, even if we've done it before, we can always do it again.
Yeah. We have so many words to say about anything, and everything.
Yeah, it's hard for us to shut up sometimes. It's funny though, because if you put us in a room, well, if you put me and Joe in a room, we will talk.
Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We have an archive of him and I just talking about topics for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. One day we'll produce them and we'll be like, whoa, actually, maybe we won't. Okay.
But I'm not like a super talkative person. It's not my personality. My personality is very reserved, and so is Joe's. But sometimes when you just put two reserved people in a room, the talking never stops.
But yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, Sparrow, then I'm just going to see if I can find the history of Blind Hate. Otherwise, I will add it to the queue, and I apologize if it slipped past me.
Okay. So, but are we going to do the other one then?
He said both are fine, or they said both are fine, so.
So what are we doing? I'm the host here, but I'm the one asking. What are we doing?
We're doing
you might be the host, but you're not in charge.
We are doing the one we just read?
Yes, and then I'm going to double check with the past and see if I can either find it for Sparrow or I'll add it to the queue.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Would you do the honors of reading it one more time for us?
Of course.
Thanks.
Sparrow is here. I was just wondering how you can deal with an annoying family member constantly shaming you for the many things you do. Sparrow is gone.
All right. So, yeah.
You know what?
Hmm.
Man, I feel so behind.
Oh, you're not
It's
behind.
amazing. I am.
You are
There.
where you are, man.
There, I just
You couldn't
posted the
possibly be
link.
behind. That would tear fabric in time. So
Don't do that, man.
yeah, guys, don't do that.
Oh my gosh, no fabric at time tearing.
Yeah. So yeah, Sparrow, this is this is a great question. I grew up with a brother who never, it wasn't his intention to constantly shame me, but he definitely did. And pretty much for anything I did, for anything I did, he was able to tell me that I was doing it poorly, I could do it better. He would show me that there was a better way. It was always that feeling of like, dang, nothing I do is right. It stunk. But my brother grew beyond that point, kind of, and I did too. I realized in my situation, I realized that it wasn't his intention to hurt me. It was just his intention to see the best of me, and he wanted to help that, even though he was doing it in such a way that was very impersonal, or unapproachable. What's the word? Not person friend, not people friendly, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Tactless.
yeah, untactful. Thank you. Yes. But I think that, we could talk a lot about this topic. Family is an interesting thing. People you have to put up with every day, and there's, especially during this time with COVID, you're just kind of stuck with them. There's no way out for the most part. But yeah, this is a great topic. So I'm gonna let Joe do the honors of kicking it off.
I will kick it. Yo, VIP. Man, if you guys can tell me what that's from. Yo, VIP. Let's kick it.
It's from a movie.
No, it's not. It's from a song.
Oh, okay. I narrowed it down for you guys. You're welcome.
Jeff. Jeff's in the chat. He knows it. Jeff, don't say anything. We want to see if these people know their classics.
Yeah. That's Bach. Oh wait, no, that's not classic. That's Baroque. Sorry. Ludwig van Beethoven. Is that classic enough for you?
Yeah, that's perfect. Anyway, Sparrow, I definitely feel your pain, and I know where you're coming from. I have family members like this. I have friends like this. Ryan talked about his brother being like this. And here's the thing. Here's the thing you gotta understand about people like that, because I think I've been kind of like this in my life. Ryan just doesn't know it because by the time he met me, I had done some serious personality adjustments. Learning about my personality and all kinds of stuff. For some people, this is just a natural way they are, because they strive for correctness in life. That's what's important to them. They want everything to be correct. And not only that, but maybe most efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that here's the interesting thing. A person like that, who I naturally am, who I have family members who this particular family member you're talking about, they want things to be correct. They strive for it in their own life. And they want to help other people do the same thing. They want to impart their wisdom and knowledge to the world and say, okay, here's how, you can do this better. And they do it because they care. Because they care about you, and because they feel like they feel like everybody's like that. Everybody wants that same thing, right? but not all personalities have that same propensity, right? We don't all strive for correctness the same way. Some people just don't care. You know, it's hilarious because I'm a very, I want things to be correct. I like things to be exact. I like things to be just right. I like things to be done the best way possible. I like to make the best use of my time. I like, you know, all these different things. I all these lined up things. And I married a girl who's the opposite. Who, like, she,
Opposites attract and then they attack.
it's it's true. They do. Um, but you know, this sorry, now I'm looking at the chat and now I'm distracted because Marshmallow figured it out. But at any rate, like, she'll say words incorrectly and not even care. And she's like, nope, this is my language. You have to learn it.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Yep, it's true. You know, it is kind of weird. Like, you know, I don't want to go too far, but you know, it's funny because her heritage is from the South, and so they say things a certain way down there, right? And it's great. It's so entertaining to me because, you know, like her grandma used to call umbrellas underbrellas. And it's like, you're just supposed to know what that means. You know, like, and that's a pretty easy one, but there are other ones that it's like we got a communication barrier here. But at any rate, so we're all a little bit different. And this person who's correcting you, they think that that's the most loving thing they can do. They think that's how they can love you, is by helping you understand the right way to do things. Now, the interesting thing about these people, they also don't take correction.
No.
Well, at all.
No.
Because they have figured it out. They have done the research. And let me tell you something. They know what they're talking about. And who are you to be telling me what? No. I'm right. So the funny, it's this weird disconnect us melancholy type people have, where, you know, we think the best thing for another person is to correct them and to do things the right way. But if somebody sees us doing something the wrong way and tries to correct us, I'm right. Right? And so we get all frustrated about it. So interestingly enough, that's kind of how it works. One of the ways to deal with this is probably understanding that. One book that's been so helpful is Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. There's also the guy who did the DISC method. What's that guy's name? Robert Rohm, Rohm. And he had some positive personality profiles or something like that. And those two, what they do, it's the same. They just name them different. You know, they just name the different personalities, different things, but they're the same personalities, right? So like the melancholy personality in Florence Littauer's book is the cautious personality in Robert Rohm's language, right? And there's a bunch of different ways to do this. But at any rate, that's probably the type of person you're dealing with. And understanding that and being able to identify that goes a long way for us to be gracious. So then the question is, how do we become more gracious? You know, sometimes we just need to nod and smile. Because here's the funny thing. I have a person close to me in my family that's like this, right? Very, very smart, brilliant. has great ways of doing things and, would instruct me on ways to do these things. What I've noticed over the years is those methods have changed because they've improved. Now, at the time that they were taught to me, it was the best. It was the best. This is the best way to do it. This is the way you must do it. And then like a year later is different because it's been improved, right?
Because it's the new best.
You're right, exactly.
It's even better than the best. It's the best best.
It's the best, right?
Wait
So
till next year.
It changes. Exactly. It's amazing. So knowing this is so important. And then like what I was telling you, May, before, understanding we're all people trying to figure this stuff out. It helps us to just have a little bit of grace. And we can just, and I know even though deep down it's really frustrating, you can just be like in the back of your head, be like, oh, okay. They're just exhibiting their personality trait. It's okay. I don't have to do it the way they're doing. I can, I can just be like, okay, well, thank you for the information. And then just go off and do it the way you would do it anyway. So, because maybe then you'll find a better result and then you'll have proof. You'd be like, I did it this way. I got it done faster and it looks better. What now?
Don't do that.
Only do that if you want to see somebody's face turn red and watch some smoke come out of their ears a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah, that'll get you in real big trouble quick.
So it depends on the relationship you have with that person, right? But anyway, that's kind of what I got to start. Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, that was great advice, and I mean I can back up all of that. It's an interesting thing. Now, here's on the off chance that the family member is shaming you on purpose, like their intention is to shame you, not to correct you, right? If on the off chance that that's the case, which is not usual, but it can be the case, what I would do is this to identify it. Next time they do this to you, don't get heated into the moment. Don't get carried into it. Next time they do it, just be like, hey, real quick question. Are you shaming me or are you trying to correct me? Are you correcting me or are you shaming me? Just ask.
That's good.
And then they'll answer. They'll tell you the truth, because that's a question that's like, they're not going to lie. They're not going to be like, I'm just trying to correct you, if really they're trying to hurt you. Because if they are trying to hurt you, they'll tell you.
They'll be like, is it working?
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're trying to correct you, they'll be honest and be like, what? I'm not trying to shame. What? No, I'm just look, this is the way you do it. Don't distract me. Look. It's true, isn't it? They'll go right back to the point.
It is, man. You sounded so much like your brother.
I know.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, I got to experience him for many years.
It's great though, because most of the time I'm like, he's like totally right. Like I go to him for so much advice because of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So just ask. If you aren't certain that they're just that personality is trying to correct you so that they can help you, or that they can see things done in a manner that works what they believe is the best way. They don't want you wasting your time, and they don't want to see someone else wasting their time, because that aggravates them.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it does.
Yes.
It aggravates them to watch someone do something wrong. Mm-hmm. Like they're the type of kid that will see another kid trying to put together Legos and they're not doing it right, and they'll just like come in and push the other kid over and take the Legos and put it together correctly and hand it back to him. No, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. What are you doing? No, that's not. Take it back. The other kid will be like, Mom. Help, something just happened. And I'm not sure what. Okay, so yeah, just ask. Are you trying to shame me, or are you just trying to correct me? Like, and if they answer they're trying to shame you, then you know who you're dealing with, right? You're dealing with someone who is feeling like you don't respect them. That's why. If someone shames you, it's because they feel like you don't respect them. They feel like they want to prove that they are higher than you, right? People who want to prove that they're more powerful, that they are more whatever, stronger, more witty, just above you in any way. People that are doing that, inside they're hurting a lot, and you know that. Inside, what they're looking for is respect. They don't have respect from themselves, and they don't have respect from others around them, right? And what they do doesn't make them any more respected, but they don't know how to solve it because they don't understand what's going on. So if you're dealing with someone in the family who is shaming you on purpose, then you need to find a way to let them know that you respect them in some way or another, and they'll stop shaming you. Because here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. If you find someone who's shaming you, if you find someone who's trying to prove that they're better than you, right? It's because inside they feel like they're not better than you. Here's what you need to do. Ask them for their opinion on something. As simple as that. Hey, what do you think is better, this or this? Just that question makes them feel validated, right? Second thing, let them know that they're intelligent. If you see them doing something that is pretty smart, let them know. Like, you know, you see them folding a piece of paper, and it's like, wow, that's a mundane task, but maybe they're folding it in a certain way that you never thought to fold it before. Or maybe they're, you know, doing something creative with a paper clip. They're just messing around with the paper clip, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, nothing, you know, get away from you, punk, you know, whatever. You're just like, no, I just thought that looked really cool. And they might be put off and they might push you away. But if you continue to validate them, let them know that you respect their opinion, you respect their intelligence, right? If you can spend time doing that, what ends up happening is this person in their head, they think I'm smart. So that means they're smart. So that means we're on equal level. Because now I have a reason to respect them. Because they think I'm smart. They think I'm creative. They think I'm brilliant. They think I'm a genius. So I have the ability to respect that. That's how people are. And it seems conceited, but that's how people are. That's just how we work as human beings at our natural state. If one of the most attractive things to a human being is someone who's attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone likes you, you like that. It's normal. And so if they are a person, you know, do this anyways, you know, regardless, because if they're trying to correct you, also, they haven't figured out that you're smart yet. You're smart enough to figure it out on your own. They haven't figured that out yet. Then they need to understand that you're smart. And the way to make them understand that they're smart, like if they're melancholy, the way to make them understand that they're smart is to let them know that they're smart. Because, and it's really weird and hard to say it without it being abusing, but if you want people to think you're smart, you tell those people that they're smart, especially melancholies.
Mm-hmm.
You find ways to show them what they're doing is really intelligent, really sophisticated, and well devised in their planning or in their strategy to doing something. Let them know that they're really smart and that you appreciate their opinions. And they'll start to be more lenient on you. It'll start to be more like, you know, they'll start to even ask you questions like, hey, I'm trying to do this. You're smart because you think I'm smart and I am. Can you help me solve this? Because I'm kind of coming up with a dead end here. You know more about this subject than I do because you actually deal with it. they'll actually start to say things like that, and you'll be surprised. But it takes getting that person to understand that you respect them, before they respect you back, because that's just the nature of humanity. Um, you know, you can be the first one, but you can't expect other people to just randomly one day, decide to start respecting you.
Mhm.
And what you might find out is that they respected you all along, but they weren't able to show it because they didn't feel close enough to you. You
Mhm.
know, they didn't feel like they had a connection to you. Even family members can be like that, right? They don't feel like they have a strong connection to you, so they're not able to say vulnerable things, such like, "Hey, could you help me with this?" It's not that vulnerable, but it is to people who really value correctness.
Mhm.
If they value correctness that much, one of the greatest shames they could possibly have is to ask someone else how something could be correct. Sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, so, um, yeah, that's what I got. Is that making sense, Sparrow? I hope it does. Let us know if that is helpful. At least as a strategy to start moving forward through this and how to deal with this person. But
Made
yeah,
sense to me.
yeah. Joe, did you have anything else you want to add to that?
I'm not Sparrow, but oh, there he is. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting because it was hard for me to ask for directions or for to ask anything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd always want to find it on my own. I always want to figure it out on my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. Like I was in a store. I was doing some shopping for my wife and my mother-in-law, and um, and I was on the phone with them. They were on the phone with me. I was in the store, and I didn't know where something was, so I asked somebody. And my mother-in-law was like, "Look at him, go and ask him for help." I'm like, "Yeah, excuse me. That's just because I don't have time to look around for it. Like, I got a lot of stuff to do. Like, we got stuff that got to happen. I don't have time to be in the store here, So it was funny. It's a lot more efficient when we can swallow our pride. Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times what this comes down to is pride. Like what Ryan was talking about, when someone feels like that you don't respect them, that's a pride issue. Right? I mean, we do want to be respected by other people. That's something that sometimes we feel we need from others, but really we don't. And when
Yep.
we let go of that need, it's amazing how free you can feel. We're like, you know what? I don't have to be respected by anybody. Everybody can think I'm the lowliest piece of turd bucket, on the ground, whatever. That's probably a bad word, sorry. But anyway.
I'm just gonna stop you right there. The loneliest piece.
Lowliest.
The loneliest piece of turd bucket. So you're not a turd bucket. You're just a piece of the turd bucket that's lonely. So it's not even next to the rest of the turd bucket.
Lowly.
Oh, lowly. Oh,
Lowliest.
lowly.
Yes.
Okay, but you're just a piece of it.
A piece of
How
it.
big? Yeah, just a piece
Just
of
a
the
little
bucket.
piece. Just the lowliest little piece.
Little piece.
Lowliest
Is it?
little piece
Okay.
of the
You
turd
could be
bucket.
that. You're right. I somehow.
And you know what? If everybody thought they were better than me, that would be great. I wouldn't really have anything to prove. It's a weird thing because our pride gets in the way so many times. It has gotten in the way of my progress for most all of my life. And I'm still figuring this out. But I'm trying, one of the things is pride has always been an issue for me. And if I can just here's the interesting thing. When I feel like I have something to prove, my life is a lot harder. When I don't feel like I have something to prove, I can just be myself. and I can put music out there. I can, I can write music. I can release music. I can make videos. I can do whatever. And I can just be like, hey, you know what? Who cares? I'm just going to put myself out there. And if nobody likes it, I don't care. But it's kind of just like I have this job to do, right? And I gotta bring myself to the world. Because that's what all of us need to do. We all are individuals. We all have such beauty within us, such a divine beauty. And it's incredible. Every one of us is unique and special, and we have something to bring to the world, and we need to be free to do that. And in order to be free to do that, we need to remember, you know what? What we bring to the world is going to be different than what everybody else brings to the world. And that's okay. But if we bring something to the world that's not authentically us, then we're going to be faking it our whole life. We need to just be us. And it's an amazing thing. So anyway, I hope some of that's helpful. I'm still learning this stuff. So just so you know. And I don't know. I really thank you for the topic. This was a lot of fun. So anyway.
Yeah. Thanks, Sparrow. One last thing is kind of on the point Joe was just saying, if you're feeling the shame when they're trying to shame you, if you're feeling shame, then I think it's important to listen to what Joe was just talking about, because there's no reason to feel shame. Like, there are times when I've been corrected and I'm like, you know what? I can sit here and be prideful and be like, no, I want to do it my way. Or I can just do it their way because actually it is better. And I'll just do it their way. And at the end of that, I feel better because it's like, I did a more efficient way. I was able to get over my pride and just go and let go. And they're happy too, and then there are cases where it's just like, let me do me, it doesn't matter whether I do it your way or my way. It's just not really a big deal. So I'm just going to do it my way because I've already started.
One thing you can do, actually, I did this past weekend, and it was very enlightening. I got on Twitch, and you know how you can browse the channels or whatever? And if you browse, what is it? There's the ones they think are most relevant, and then there's the ones that you just say all, and then it gives you all the ones where people have no viewers, And so you just click on some of those. And what you find is you see people being themselves. You see people trying to be something they're not. You see all kinds of stuff out there. But every single one of them is putting something out there. And so every single one of them has my respect just for that, right? But at the same time, you'll do the best if you just you. Because then, if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to stream, or if you're going to be, when Ryan and I are on here, this isn't a show we're putting on. You get us, right? And for better, for worse, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yep. Mostly wrong, no.
But at any rate, yeah, if you can be you, it's beautiful. That's the beauty the world needs. Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Oh, no, it's all good. So with that, thank you so much for the topic, Sparrow. And we hope we did justice. Let's move on to the next one. If that's available. So I'm gonna run through the list one more time real quick here. And if you are here, or have have a topic that you'd like us to, do, post it in the chat right now. But if you're here, post something in the chat so we know you're here. I've got Seflev, SK, /Pika, Jesse, Con Vulcan, Sparrow, which is that one, sorry. Amira, Random, Baka, Catjat, Ian Lam, and Saula. If any of you are here, let us know, and we should do your topic.
Yes.
That's right.
And if none of you are here, somebody say something for us to talk about. Hey,
Baka is here.
All right.
Box Kun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, right. All right. Jump into Baka
Let's do that.
Breaker. Um, yes,
Whoa.
there's a link for it.
I just messed
Box.
everything up.
Oh, good. The more messed up, the more better.
That's right. Yes. Thanks.
The mo mess, mo better.
Mo mess, mo better.
Cool. Oh, hey, no problem. See you later, Mar.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is from Baka Breaker. It's titled Paranoia. And it reads as follows.
Lately, it seems to me that I've been getting more paranoid about being an outcast in everything I do. It's getting hard to not think about it. I know I'm not an outcast, but something in my head just always brings this up. How do I get rid of these thoughts of nonsense? From Baka.
Thanks, Baka Breaker, and thanks for reading that, Princess. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. You know, my gosh, I went through the first all of school from second grade all the way until probably senior year, feeling like an outcast. Even among friends, just when I was with my friends, I was like, yeah, we're the outcasts. But you know, even with my friends, there are many times where I was like, I don't really belong here, and you know, or I don't really relate to the subject they're talking about right now. But you know, I was picked on a lot, and you know, there was a lot of stuff going on at school that wasn't great. But regardless, I can totally relate to feeling like an outcast. And hopefully we can do a lot to help you get over that sensation, because just as you said, how do I, you know, they're kind of thoughts of nonsense. And I believed that nonsense. I very much believed the nonsense. I believed all the lies of it, and I made up all sorts of lies in my head, and it was not good. So the fact that you recognize that, and the fact that you are trying to escape it already, is a great sign, and super mad props to you, because that's, oh man, I wish I would have realized that sooner than I did. So yeah, that's awesome. But anyways, with that said, I'm gonna give it over to Joe.
Well, I have to say exactly what Ryan just said. I'm not going to, but I agree wholeheartedly. Because it's true. But here's the interesting thing about being an outcast. It's okay. It's okay. You're kind of free at that point, in a way. You know, you're not free from yourself, but you're free from obligations from others, right? You know, I remember I was watching. What was I watching? I can't remember. It was either a movie or a show at some point or whatever. But there was this queen in this movie, and she was talking to her maid person, whatever, the close friend, confidant person that she had, and she was jealous of this person who came from a poor upbringing. And you know, the person from the poor upbringing was like, what in the world? And you know, then this maidservant person got to see all the things this queen had to do. You know, had to go be certain places, had to look a certain way, had to dress a certain way, had to be with certain people, had to be married to this king. It was an arranged marriage. It was a political marriage. You know, it was like, I was the princess of this country, he was the prince of this country, and they made us get married to form an alliance between these two countries, you know. And so there was this whole big thing, right? And there was this line in there that was so important. It says, I have a life of privilege, but no freedom. And that was very interesting to me, because you look at someone who's a king or a queen, or you look at someone in a position of, you know, high authority like that, or whatever it is, you know, high success, you might call it, you know, lots of wealth or whatever. And they may have a life of privilege, but they're probably not free. Because in order to maintain all of that lifestyle, There's a lot of things that demand their attention. And there are a lot of things that, they have to deal with on a consistent basis. And, there was a rap song called Mo Money, Mo Problems. And so that's an interesting thing. So, sometimes we look at another person and we're like, oh, man, like when I was in school, I used to look at all the popular kids, right? And I'd be like, man, it'd be great to be one of those popular kids. But you know what? Now that I'm older and I look back on that, I'm like, man, they had to keep up their appearance in order to be popular, right? They couldn't just be who they wanted to be. They had to be, they had to fit in. So they had to do things in order to fit in. And I remember I finally started trying to fit in when I was like, I don't know, maybe in 10th or 11th grade or something like that. And, what it led me down a path of bad habits. Really. All kinds of bad habits and negative things, right? All in the name of fitting in or being cool or whatever, right? But then what you find out is you're not free at all because you got to keep up that appearance. So being an outcast, or at least being maybe not part of the in crowd or whatever, it's freedom. It doesn't feel like it because we feel like, oh, well, maybe the world doesn't like me or whatever, right? But you're actually free in those moments. And so you can take that setting and you can shift your mindset a little bit and be like, you know what? I don't have to be anything special. I could just be myself.
Which is the most special.
Which is the most special. Exactly. And then here's the other thing. So there's kind of a downward spiral that happens in this situation. So you feel like an outcast, right? And what that does is it kind of brings you down mentally. It makes you kind of feel sorry for yourself maybe a little bit. It makes you feel sad and, and then maybe tends to make you withdraw even more. And so then you're even more withdrawn and then you feel like even more of an outcast. And so that makes you even more depressed. And so then that causes you to withdraw even more. And then, it just kind of keeps going down and down and down and down and down. Right. So then how do you figure you're going to get out of that? And, that's a good question. There are different ways people have, done things to cope with it. Sometimes people have turned to different forms of, drugs, alcohol, whatever, and they deal with it that way. Sometimes people deal with it through, eating. Sometimes, other addictions. There's shopping, there's gambling, there's all kinds of things that can be destructive. Baca says, 5th, 6th grade, I was pushed away by people I thought I knew. I understand. That's a young age. That's a hard time to be rejected. But you know what? Interestingly enough, inside each of us, and I don't know if you heard me talk about this. I know I talked about it on a recent show, but inside each of us, we have a plus entity and a minus entity. We have a positive person and a negative person. The positive person works hard. The positive person, sees the world as an opportunity, sees the world as something where it's like, hey, there's stuff to be done here. I can contribute to this world. I can bring something special to it, and the world will profit by it. And if the world profits by me, then I will profit as well. And that's literally true. Because the universe is infinite. It's infinite. And I remember hearing a guy say, if you think that your problem is something that if you think there's no answer to your problem, it's because you don't have a proper understanding of the universe. Because the universe is infinite. So there's infinite possibilities, right? And that's so true. So sometimes we feel like we're stuck. Sometimes we feel like it's, oh man. And I know you say, I know I'm an outcast, but something in my head just always brings this up. And you, like you said, you've been getting more and more paranoid about it, which then feeds the problem, right? That paranoia, that fear feeds the problem. There are things that I know you're good at because I've played Minecraft with you and I've seen the stuff you build. So I know the kind of designs you can make. I know the kind of creativity you have. And interestingly enough, creative people like this, you know, they tend to go in this direction. You know, there's details. There's very, you know, we get focused on details and we spiral downwards. It's just kind of a natural thing. So when you understand that about yourself, you can probably catch yourself and be like, okay, yep, this is the wrong train of thought. I need to stop. And then you can be like, wait a second. I have value. I have value. I know I have value because I exist. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Because here's the thing. Every single one of us is like that. My grandma used to always say to me, God don't make no junk. And that's literally true. So if you are here, that means you're not junk, no matter how much you might feel like it. And sometimes it just takes us remembering, okay, I have something I can do here. I have something that I'm supposed to do here in the world. And I just have to find it. I just have to try. And so you take what you're good at and you do it. You know, if you're on a team, I think if I remember correctly, you're on the bowling team. You've got a contribution you can make there. You know, there's different things you can do at school. There's different things you can do in chats and in server, different areas. I know you're on Discord. One thing you can do is focus on being a light for others. Because I guarantee you, if you're feeling like this, there are thousands of other people around you that feel the same way. And if you just shine for them, what you find happens is you feel so much better. It takes your mind off yourself, puts your focus on others. You help the lives of other people. You contribute into their life, which then makes you feel more important. And you also help another person. It's beautiful. You know, like Ryan and I do this show, and we just hope we help you guys. But in the process, it's some of the best therapy for us. You know, because it takes our minds off ourselves and off our problems of what we're dealing with, and it forces us to try and help somebody else. It's amazing how the dynamic of that works. Love grows when you give it, not when you receive it. Your love in your heart will grow the more you give it away. And so I encourage you to do that. And watch out, because good things are going to happen. And bad things. But the bad things don't feel so bad when the good is good. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Bad things feel bad when the good is bad.
When the good is bad.
But the bad things don't feel bad when they're bad is good. All right.
Follow
stretch
that.
after that one. I realized I wasn't stretched enough after hearing that comment. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I make myself exhausted too. I know I talk forever and I need to...
No, that was great, man.
I'm sorry.
I just wasn't warmed up enough, you know. No, that's true. You know, it's interesting when you start to make it a point not to be loved by others, but to love others, I think your worldview starts to change about yourself.
Mm.
If you focus on, instead of focusing on like, you know, do these people like me? Am I an outcast right now? Are these people just kind of dealing with me and putting up with me? If I tell a funny joke, will anybody laugh? Is this joke funny enough, or should I just be quiet? Like, do I talk about this topic, or will no one relate? You know, you start to ask all these questions. When instead you could just ask one question, and is, how do I make this other person feel loved? You know, there are times when that's my first question, and then it leads into, okay, what kind of question should I ask them? Maybe I should ask them, like, what's their favorite dessert? You know, and then we can talk about that for a long time.
Pickle bologna.
You know, what'd you say?
Pickle bologna.
Pickle bologna is your favorite dessert?
Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
Mm.
I've never heard that response before. I would love to talk about that because I'm actually really tempted to, but I'm going to continue the topic. Pickled bologna is what we make Hunter's Delight out of, which is a special family recipe, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dinner, not a dessert, but it could be a dessert. It's so good. Anyways,
Sorry.
if none of you have ever had pickled bologna, try it. It's good. Okay. So anyways,
totally threw Ryan off.
you know, pickled bologna used to be it used to be like the cheapest of all meat. So that's why people used to use it in everything. But now it's expensive because no one uses it in anything.
Yep.
Back on topic.
I know, it's amazing.
Response, man. All right. So, anyways,
you know, my brother and I are both like that. We're like, hey, what do you want for dessert? More meat?
Yeah, more meat. That's great.
Yep.
So, anyways, if you can look at people and look at them, don't look at yourself, and don't try to look at them as a mirror to see yourself. Because I think there's many times where we look at other people as if they're mirrors. And we need to stop. There are many times where I do it. I look at other people as mirrors. I look at them and I just try to look at them and see, how do I look in that mirror? How do I look at myself when I look into this person? What do I look like? And that's stupid. People are people. They're not mirrors. We need to look at them and go, how do I make their day? How do I make them feel loved? How do I give them this moment? How do I take my time and spend it with them in a valuable way, in a way that actually makes sense, a way that is worth my time and worth their time? You know, I don't have enough time in the world to give someone the value that they deserve. Like, I would have to spend all of my life and more with one person to truly even try to take a spit at, or a shot at representing how much they mean. They mean so much. I could spend my entire life trying to spend it with them, and I wouldn't be enough. That's the way we need to look at all people. Instead of looking at them as a mirror back at ourselves, we need to look at them and go, there's no amount of time that I can spend with this person that's enough. So what can I make of this moment? What kind of value can I add to their life right now? And if we start asking those questions when we look at people, how do I just fill them with joy in this moment? Or how do maybe they're sad, and how do I give them peace in this moment? You know, we aren't the solutions to people's problems, and we can't make people happy, but we add value to each other's lives. And every word we say matters, and every word they say matters. So we need to, when we look at others, ask, you know, really just love on them. And that changes a lot of how you start to see yourself. Because here's the thing. When you start to Love on others. This is where I'm tying the topic back in. If you start to love on others, when you start to see yourself, your nature will be to love on yourself. And then you won't care about whether you're an outcast or not. Because honestly, you're just you.
Mhm.
Are you an outcast? Are you not? Are you? Who knows? You can't really be either. You're just you. And that's worth loving. It's a beautiful thing, what you are.
Mhm.
It's an incredible miracle that you exist. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at. You belong. You exist, therefore you belong, and you should make it worth your stay, you know? So not to quote some random lyrics that I accidentally just said. That's right. So anyways, friend says, yes, I had a Scott Hahn moment. I'm sorry. But anyways, once you start to, because here's the thing, I went through this. Through much of my school, I thought everybody was my enemy. I thought everybody hated me. I literally thought everybody hated me unless they were in my core group of friends.
Mm.
And it was dumb because it wasn't that way. I assumed what people were thinking about me before I gave them the chance. And that was a poor decision on my part. I went back later, I talked to some of the people, and they were like, what? No, no one could possibly hate you, Ryan. Why?
Nobody knew you.
Nobody, no one was thinking about you. And if they did, they were like, oh, there's that weird kid. No one hated you. What the heck? And you wanted to be the weird kid, right? And I was like, yeah, I was prideful about my weirdness. I was like, yeah, I'm the weird kid.
I'm the weird one, man. Look
I'm
at
the
me.
weird one. I actually, so on graduation, we got these awards, personalized. We were voted by the class for certain things. So some people got like voted by the class most good looking, voted by the class most likely to be successful in life, voted by the class most likely to stay in our hometown, things like that. And one of them was most unique. And I got the award for most unique, and I was like, oh no. Like, I thought it was an insult. I was like, wow, what an insult. You know, I can't believe they would do this. Like, that's mean. Even though I'm the one that's trying to be unique and weird. All right, but I got voted most unique. And then the next person that was called also got voted most unique was, so they always did everything in a male and a female. So they said, you know, most likely to succeed male, most likely to see female. So they did the same thing with me and this girl. When she got called, I was like, no, it's a compliment. Everyone loves this girl. She is so cool. She's so kind, and just no one could possibly ever hate her. She's amazing. Everyone loves her. And then when I talked to her, because we met up, and then once we left the graduation ceremony, she like came to me immediately, and she was like, oh my gosh, at first when my name was called, I was so worried because I thought everyone was making fun of me. But then I realized it was with you, and everyone loves you, Ryan. So, oh my gosh, I know it's not a like, no way, whatever. Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of people, it's not that they hate you. It's not that you're an outcast. It's just honestly, a lot of people are thinking about themselves, and they're thinking too much about themselves to think about you. So in a way, you are an outcast, but that's all right. I mean, like Joe was saying, you don't have to live up to anybody's expectations. You just have to hold the bar high on yourself and live up to those expectations. And when you don't, when you fail, you know, to reach that bar, make sure you love yourself above the bar, or you'll never get above it, right? So hold the bar high on yourself, love yourself above the bar, and don't care what anybody else's bar is, unless it helps you improve what you're, you know, because you can ask other people and be like, hey, you know, am I good enough? And they're like, well, you could do this better. And, you know, sometimes that's a valuable opinion. But yeah, it's, anyways, that's what I got. Joe, do you got anything you want to add?
Yep.
Well, thanks, Bucker Breaker.
That's so great. No, Ryan, you're so right. We all think that way. But here's one of the things I noticed. when I felt like an outcast. Now I did this, we're all remote, like the schools are all remote and everything like that, right? And to varying degrees. So, and even when the schools are in session, like nobody's allowed in there. Like the kids have to come out, so there's no like there's no hanging around and socializing, right? But I can remember, being a parent at my kids' school, and going to the different school functions and events and all that kind of stuff and feeling like a total outcast. Here's what I noticed. It was not anything, it was exactly like what Ryan was talking about. They just don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know anything about me. They're still trying to figure me out. Hey, there he is, And most people aren't going to go strike up a conversation. They're just not. Most people want to keep to themselves, and that's okay. But here's the thing. When I felt like an outcast, when I was like, oh, these people are all judging me, these people are all, like, oh, whatever. How do you think my face looked? If I feel fear and, like feeling like these people are all judging me, and I'm looking around at all these people that I'm sure are judging me, and in their mind,
I don't have a very inviting face.
Yeah. One, I'm afraid of them, and two, I feel like they're judging me, so I'm kind of giving them like the stink eye a little bit, like, like, what are you thinking about me, right? That's not a very inviting look. Like, so of course nobody's gonna want to come up and talk to me, of course. So then you just be like, okay. So then now it's like, okay, I'm me, whatever. Who cares? You can like me or not like me, and whatever, I figure most people don't like me anyway, so what do I got to lose, right? If they don't like me, hey, great. Exactly what I thought. So I'm just going to be me anyway, and, have a good time. But then what happens is you can start to open up, because when you're worried about what other people are thinking about you, that's exactly like what Ryan was just talking about. When you feel like an outcast, that's your main concern. These people are all thinking bad things about me. And so I'm an outcast to them because they all think bad about me. What's happening is we're thinking too much about ourselves. We're too self-focused. And then we're afraid. And that fear stops us from being our authentic selves. So we're really not being ourselves when we're around these people. So we're not giving them our true selves to like anyway. If they don't like us in that state, they like something that's not really us. Or they don't like something that's not really us, right? So the key to that then is exactly what Ryan was talking about. Just remember, hey, everybody else is kind of in that same boat. A great example of that is the movie Napoleon Dynamite at the very end. I know, Ryan, you're like, well, oh, great. Here comes another movie.
Watched it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But at any rate, when Napoleon Dynamite does a dance at the end or whatever, and then, and like the way the school responds and everything, what you find out is that the popular people, there's like 5 or 6 in the entire school that are the popular people. Everybody else is an outcast or a misfit or something, right? Everybody else is like, they feel that way. And that's literally true. Most people feel just like that. And what it takes is us depositing into their lives. And we feel fulfilled as a result. I heard a priest say one time, when you look at the picture of a crucifix, you look at the picture of Christ dying on the cross, that's the pinnacle of fulfillment because he gave everything. And as a result was the most fulfilled because he offered his whole self. And interestingly enough, the more we do that, the more we offer ourselves to others, the more fulfilled we feel. The better we feel about ourselves. The better we feel about them, the better we feel about the whole world and everything around us. You know, we just feel better about it. But it's just us offering ourselves in little bits at a time, and then more and more, and then it's incredible because then you open yourself up to that fulfillment. So that's all I have. Ryan,
Nice.
back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's so true. Like the more you, a lot of times in life, we feel like we'll be more fulfilled the more things we have. But in truth is the more we give, because we are a gift ourselves. We have so much talent. And the more we use our talents for the world, the more fulfilled we feel. And we get this idea that we need to take all this stuff and own everything and, you know, have a lot of friends and have all of these things
Mm-hmm.
so that we can be happy, so we can be fulfilled. We want all these people to like us so that we can feel liked. And we find out, like, even when we achieve that, it's like, oh, that's nothing. You know, it's just fickle. It lasts for a moment. It's joy, but that's it. And then you feel empty, you know, because you haven't given anything. All you've done is taken. And so therefore you've put out nothing. Your fulfillment level is zero.
Mm-hmm.
By being fulfilled, by doing things, you feel fulfilled. And that's an amazing point of reality. I think we so often forget. But yeah, it's super important. And yeah, anyways, thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for the question, Baka Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
You're awesome. And
You are.
keep on being you, man. You're so cool. And also, it's great to see you ask all these questions and looking, you know, to be on track for, you know, self-improvement, all that kind of stuff, just so that you can be a better person. And I think that's so cool. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the lively chat. You guys are really funny and amazing. Thanks for people helping out in the chat who have helped. And yeah. If you want some merchandise, you can get some Detective Q plushie.
Mm-hmm.
He's cute.
Yeah, they're
if you like
not
cute
currently
things.
on sale anymore.
They're not on sale anymore.
The sale
but that's
ended.
okay. They're still just
They're
as
still
cute.
cute.
You can get this book, this knowledgeable book. It's knowledgeable. It's very, if you like knowledge and if you like pictures, it's full of pictures. Look at all those pictures. It's like a ton of pictures. Those are lyrics on that page. It's a lyric page. But look at that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at all those words.
Oh my gosh.
Those words were written by Ryan.
And then edited by Joe. Oh my gosh.
To somewhat degree.
Yeah.
I basically just took out a few commas.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. Don't you want this?
Like maybe like 7,000 commas.
There's a little spider coon. You see him? Oh, there's a box too.
Box? How'd you get
Look at
there?
him. He's cute. He's one of the cutest cast members.
That's the inbox. Did you notice that's the inbox?
Yeah, I did see that. Interesting. There's a good, nice looking picture. Detective. Look at that.
You know, it kind of reminds me of somebody. Those glasses. Man.
I don't know who.
If he grew a beard.
Yeah. I need to take off my beard. Take off. Yeah, that's what happens. You just
take it.
You take it off.
It's off.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I didn't know how to close it down, so I went with that. Okay, thank you all so much for being here. You guys are amazing. And we love you all. That's you. A USB. It's a box. Wow.
It's a box.
It's a box.
Blah.
With the BSS logo on the front.
Oh yeah.
Which looks fantastic.
It's got that.
Boom.
See how dark it got behind me when I did that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It might be reversed for them, but that's all right.
It's actually not. It's the right way.
Oh, it's not? Nice.
I turned off my mirror image.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, because otherwise this guy's covered up by my name over here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's
All
like,
right.
he's got to be out. He's got to be.
He's got to be completely visible,
Yeah,
right? As much
he's
as
gotta be
possible.
like, hey man, I'm detective, and I'm soft and plushy form, man.
So how late are you? Just on time to experiencing the ending theme song, which you love so much. Thank you all for being here. You guys are a joy to be around, and we hope to see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.
See you guys later.